So, about 5 months ago, I put out a video talking about how exactly to get 10x back on everything with the special offer of the Chase Freedom Unlimited at that time. And shortly thereafter, a ton of people signed up for that special offer because it was just too good to pass up for their situation. But shortly after that video was released, that offer basically became no longer available. And since then, Chase has also put out some special deals here and there, but none of them quite like that special offer. Until today, because you could technically still get almost 10% back on all purchases completely with this new special offer. When this one kind of went a little bit under the radar, there is a new offer on the Chase Freedom Unlimited that is right here that I think can only be accessed through my portal, or these special portals that some of these credit card creators have, where you can actually earn an extra 1.5% back on everything you buy on up to $20,000 spent in the first year. But it doesn't just end right there, because you can see right here it says earn an extra 1.5% back on everything you buy, aka adding 1.5% multipliers on all of the already existing multipliers on the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Like, for example, the normal 5% back on travel purchased through the Chase Travel Portal is now 6.5% back. Instead of 3% on dining in drugstores, now it's 4.5% on all restaurant spend, all drugstore spend, and then an additional 3% back, so a 3% catch-all card on all purchases for the next year. So then you might be thinking, like, Anthony, is this card really worth it for me in my specific situation? Like, who is this card actually for? And so that, I would say, great question. I would say it's actually for about 3 people. Number one is just maybe you're a beginner. Maybe you have your first 3 to 5 credit cards and you're not looking to add a crazy amount of credit cards, annual fee credit cards and whatnot. You just want a good, no annual fee card that you don't have to really think about and that you're going to use religiously for the next year while you're still building your credit score and still reaping the benefits of at least 3% back on everything, right? Number two is maybe you're a person kind of like myself who has technically been gardening their status, their 524 status, and maybe just not looking to accumulate too many different credit cards at this time. It would be really nice to just have one credit card to put all spend on and get really incredible outsized returns without having to deal and juggling with multiple different cards, right? And thirdly, maybe you're just an earner, right? You're just not somebody who's looking to chase welcome offer after welcome offer. You just are an earner and you want to put spend, whether it's personal or business spend through your business, all funneled on this credit card to hit that 20,000 cap to get upwards to, believe it or not, around 100,000 ultimate reward points if you do it right. Well, if you don't believe me, let's go through the math. And as you hear these numbers, let me know if these are higher or lower depending on your situation in your life, and just exactly how that'll change the amount of points you're able to earn by the end of the year. So first and foremost, if you look right here, the travel category, right? This is the one we're getting 6.5% back on everything. And if you look, the average American household of 4 usually spends about $4,500 every single year on travel. Which again, this could be higher or lower depending on your household, your family, how often you travel, how often you're using the portals, so many different factors, so do your own math at home along with me. But if we do take the average of $4,500 times that 6.5% back, aka points back, you're going to be getting back 29,200 UR points on the travel category alone. Secondly, dining out. We know a ton of creators in the space that mention they're spending upwards to $1,000 every single month on their household of maybe 3, 4, or 5 people. So that's a good amount of spend. But what do the averages say? The general consensus is the average American household of 4 spends about $750 every single month, whether it's sitting down at restaurants and eating with your family or just takeout. And in that scenario, $9,000 at the end of the year times the 4.5% elevated cashback, aka points back, you're going to be getting 40,500 Chase Your points for that alone. For drugstores, which a lot of people kind of don't mention very, very often, but from what I could see, the consensus is the average American, so a single person, spends about $500 every single year at drugstores. So for maybe a 2-parent household, you're spending $1,000 every single year, right? Give or take. And drugstores at $1,000 multiplied by the elevated 4.5% back is 4,500 Chase Your points. So that equals a total spend so far of $14,500. And remember, the limit of my special offer is $20,000 in total. And for the difference of $5,500 is going to be on everything, right? Like, there's no specific category. This is just a basic 3% catch-all credit card on everything. Could be gas, could be tickets to the rodeo, could be paying your rent, even though I probably wouldn't suggest that with the high fees, or even just buying stupid Versace slippers on Saks Fifth, right? You're going to be getting 3% back on all of those purchases. So $5,500 times 3% catch-all equals another additional 16,500 Chase Your points, which if you add all of those categories together based on that specific average household spend, you'll be getting back a total of 90,200 Chase Ultimate Reward points after spending $20,000 on this card for the full year. So they might be saying like, Anthony, okay, cool, but what is 90,200 points actually worth? And for that, it depends on who you ask, right? If you ask like a real cashback person, Jesus Christ, man. Again? Every single time I mention cashback, he's got to show up. All right, whatever. Yes, I'll tell him. Okay. He wanted to just let you know that Chase actually allows you to cash out your points at 1 cent per point, aka 90,200 points equals $902 in cash back in your pocket for that 20,000 worth of spend. So if you are those 3 people that we mentioned at the beginning, you are going to take this offer up and you're only going to use it for cash back, which I probably wouldn't do. That return on spend would be 4.5% back on absolutely everything, which is honestly not that bad for a 1-card setup, even though we know you can have setups of Citi custom caches, US bank cards, and essentially with maybe 3 to 5 certain cards, you can get 5% back on everything, which is, that extra 0.5%. But again, if you want to just have 1 card simplicity, maybe this is the one for you. But of course, like you, I like to maximize the amount of points as much as I possibly can, but 1 cent per point is okay, and if you really need the cash, then sure, but we can do a lot better as people who are looking to travel a little bit more, right? So in a second example, to add a little bit more value to this 4.5% return, what if you're actually someone who has maybe a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Chase Sapphire Reserve? These credit cards inherently give you a value multiplier of either 1.25 or 1.5x on all the points that you have if you're booking travel through the Chase Travel Portal, which I know a lot of people are doing nowadays. So in that same example of 90,000 points, and maybe you push it to a Chase Sapphire Reserve with that 1.5x multiple, now we're talking about $1,400 in cash travel value, $1,400 in value for that $20,000 worth of spend, which is aka a 7% return on all spend for the next year. So if you value simplicity and you fall within the averages, 7% return for the next year is pretty much better than probably any other card on the market without factoring in like welcome offers and whatnot. And we already decided that's probably not going to be you if you are actually interested in using this card for the next year. But what if you're someone like me, someone who's just trying to go absolutely insane with Hyatt hotels over the next year or so, and to really maximize the amount of vacations, maximize the amount of hotels we're able to stay in, as much as possible. Now, of course, everybody out there mentions, oh, you're going to take your Chase points and transfer it to Hyatt hotels. I know that there are other transfer partners. If you value those, you have to do your own math on this. It's not something I've done personally. I'm just going to talk about what I have done personally, which is transferring all my Chase points to Hyatt hotels. And for the last at least year that I've been staying in these hotels, I've been getting a minimum of 2 cents per point, which is basically the average that's touted out there. Now, of course, there are some times where I actually get more than that. I'll get 2.5, sometimes 3 cents per point. So it all depends on where you're booking, when you're booking, etc., etc. But if you just take that at face value, the 2 cents per point, in my estimation, if I earn 90,000 points with this specific card, to me, that would be worth about $1,800 in Hyatt travel value for the future. And $1,800 in travel value back after 20,000 spend is a 9% return on all of your money, which is, now we're going places, right? Not quite 10% yet, but we're getting there, right? We're close enough. And sorry about the title, just 10x looks better than 9, right? Am I right? And not only that, but of course, there are some people out there that mention that they will not stay at a Hyatt hotel unless it's, more than that. Maybe it's a 3 cents per point. So you can manipulate the numbers however you want. In that scenario at 3%, that's $2,700 back, aka like a 13.5% return on all your money. So, like I said, you can manipulate the numbers however you want, but at least you're getting a minimum of $900 cash back, $1,400 in travel value with a Chase Sapphire Reserve, $1,800 for the average Hyatt stay, and then upwards to, who knows, 13.5% and more, depending on how you're actually using those points, who you're transferring them to, which partners you're using, and how much you could actually reap from this special offer. So if you want to learn more about this special offer and you are interested in it, you could always scan the QR code on your screen right here, or you could look down in the pinned comment. Pinned comment's probably a little bit easier, but it's going to take you directly to my referral link towards this special offer if you fancy it. And if you do happen to use my referral link, let me know down in the comments below and I'll give you a hearty handshake as a token of my gratitude. Wait a second, lefties are 10% of the population. 90%, baby, let's go, right-handy. But wait a second, if you're viewing this, so you might be thinking like, how does this compare to the normal offer, right? Of just getting $200 back for 500 spend, aka 20,000 UR points back after 500 spend. Now, if you're just looking for a card that you could hit it and quit it, this is probably the one for you, and this is the actual offer you're going to want to use. Because getting 20,000 UR points for just 500 spend is at minimum a 40% return on all of your money. But if you do the same extrapolations for Hyatt hotels and those valuations, it could be upwards to 80 or even more than 100% return on your money. depending on how you're actually transferring and using those 20,000 points. So if you are not one of those 3 people and you're really, like I just said, just trying to hit it and quit it, get a card, move on to the next, get the bonus, move on to the next, then that's probably the card for you. And that link is also down under that first link in the pinned comment if you want that specific offer, which is really, really valuable as well if you are that type of person. And a few caveats just in case, just so you know, just so I completely solidify it. And like I said, again, if you're someone who's just running and gunning and doesn't have a ton of spend, the 500 spend to get 200 back is always going to be a better option. 2, if you're a person that is a welcome offer chaser, right, not like a huge earner like I mentioned at the beginning, then yes, over the course of a year and $20,000 worth of spend, you can hit, 5 different welcome offers on 5 different credit cards and get way more value than just the standard 90,000 UR points, right? But this is more for people who are gardening, people who don't want a lot of cards, people who are earners, have a lot of personal and business spend, etc. Also, it should go without saying, it's a chase card. It does affect your 524 status, so if you're at 524 or 624, it's very likely that you are denied for this card no matter what. Go and wherever you check your statuses, make sure that you are below 524 if you are going to try for this card. And then also, of course, the lifetime language of 24 months between actually getting bonuses on the specific cards. So meaning if you've had this card in the last 2 years, you will be ineligible for the bonus. So just keep track of all your numbers here, right? That's the main thing. And I guess the last caveat, like I mentioned last time, is there may be other cards that get 5% back on certain things, but you really can't beat a 3% catch-all credit card on one card with no annual fee, at least for the next year. And I guess PS, last time I saw some comments about this, but yes, after a year, it will go down to the normal multipliers, so 5x travel, 3x dining, 3x drugstores, and then 1.5x back on everything else. But again, knowing all the caveats, knowing all the details, and realizing you're one of those people can fall within the average spend, you did the math at home, and you still want the card, or the pinned comment is going to be where you can find my direct special offer. And as always, I hope you get value from it, and I appreciate it for using my link in the first place. And in the meantime, if you are the person who is running and gunning, and you're trying to earn, maybe 90,000 Chase UR points faster than this special offer, then watch this video here and how I'm kind of just rinse and repeating Chase Ink cards to get as many points as possible for, again, life-changing high it stays. So I hope to see you there. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you.